We are right now in trouble, deep Anthropocene trouble. We live at a time when what Michael McCarthy has called the great thinning of species is at work. Biodiversity loss, collapse is occurring across the planet due to human activity, all our activities. It expresses itself at local levels, in communities, in languages, in hearts, in well-being, in mental health, and of course it expresses itself at vast planetary inequalities brought about by what Rob Nixon calls the slow violence of climate change. What can culture do in the face of such emergent and systemic difficulties? It's tempting to despair. I know people who are, I think, hipsterishly post-hope. They call me not a hophead, but a hopehead. They say I'm high on hopiates. They do have good lines and quite good puns, and I haven't yet been able to come up with one to come back at them, but I also think they're wrong. I think it is important to fight shy of big overclaims for culture's power. Culture often does nothing. It becomes a kind of auto backslap, a self-flattery carried out by people who work in the culture industry, like all of us. But I also think that we need hope in the dark. We need it more now than ever in this age of crisis. The post-hope argument doesn't convince me. What makes me despair is resignation. It's self-indulgent. Barry Lopez puts it strongly and clearly in a recent public event. Your ethical responsibility is to others, not to yourself. Hope is not a requirement, but faith is indispensable. Make common cause with others. And that nails it for me. However grim the global picture, there are always battles, large and small, to be fought and won for the good. There's discourse to be changed. There's power to be resisted. There's inequalities between humans and humans and humans and more than humans to be balanced out at very local as well as at very planetary levels. I was delighted to see that Nottingham has set out a clear plan to become the UK's first carbon neutral city by 2028. I was delighted to see that both Nottingham University and Nottingham Trent have, as I believe, moved officially to divest from fossil fuels. We've always been good at imagining the end of the world, but what's harder to picture, says Rebecca Solnit, are the strange sidelong paths of change in a world without end. These non-linear scenarios of change, these wood wide webs, these word wide webs, these world wide webs, these are the ones we need right now. And for that, we need many kinds of storytelling. So I hope today I have thought a little about how stories, languages, names can affect the way we think about our more than human world, this green fuse force of which we're part. How these things can be crushed to insignificance by big power, but also how they can sidestep it, grow underneath it, and in this way bring about kinds of ethical, educational, or societal change that might, moving quietly like hyphae, through grace and gift and generosity, far exceed their intended scope and force, and help us to imagine how we might start to exit the Anthropocene and enter the Symbiocene. Thank you very much.